In this podcast episode, Stephen interviews Karen Howe, an esteemed technology journalist and author of Empire of AI, Dreams and Nightmares in Sam Altman's OpenAI. They delve deeply into the inner workings and consequences of the AI industry, focusing particularly on OpenAI and its leadership. The conversation covers a range of topics, including the creation and myth-making around artificial general intelligence, AGI, labor exploitation in AI development, the environmental impact of massive data centers, the opacity and monopolization of AI research, and the pressing societal implications of rapid AI adoption. Throughout, Karen sheds light on the polarized views within the AI community, the corporate power dynamics, and the urgent need for regulation and alternative paths of innovation. Karen traces the origins of AI back to 1956, when John McCarthy coined the term at Dartmouth University. From the beginning, AI was framed as an attempt to recreate human intelligence, an ambition loaded with scientific and philosophical ambiguity, as even today no consensus exists on what human intelligence precisely means. This definitional vagueness allows companies like OpenAI to shift the meaning of AGI flexibly depending on their audience, whether Congress, consumers, or investors, presenting it as everything from a digital assistant to a solution for existential global crises. This fluidity is part of the myth-making that helps justify the extraordinary power and capital funneled into AI development. Karen highlights how early messaging from Sam Altman and Elon Musk employed the language of existential threat and summoning the demon to galvanize support for OpenAI's mission. Sam Altman's public warnings about superhuman AI risks echoed Musk's, serving as powerful recruitment tools and fundraising rhetoric. However, internal dynamics reveal a more strategic use of fear, part of an intentional myth used to justify unchecked growth and consolidation of control over AI technology. The tension between dire warnings and utopian promises serves to underscore the industry's push for dominance and regulatory autonomy. The conversation explores Sam Altman's controversial leadership at OpenAI, revealing a sharply divided perception of him within the industry. To some, he is a visionary leader akin to Steve Jobs, while to others, he is manipulative and divisive. Karen's extensive interviews with former OpenAI insiders depict a fractious culture marred by internal power struggles, secrecy, and instability. The fallout includes high-profile departures, such as co-founders Dario Amodei and Ilya Sutskever, who left to start competing AI ventures after clashing with Altman's vision. This fragmentation reflects the broader clash over AI's future direction and governance. The rapid launch and popularity of ChatGPT caught OpenAI unprepared, exposing organizational chaos characterized by server crashes, rushed hiring and firing, and internal divisions. Key figures like Ilya Sutskever raised serious governance concerns about Altman's leadership style, describing an environment of mistrust and competitive dysfunction within teams. Independent board members, worried about the stakes involved with AGI's potential impact, ultimately decided to remove Altman, though the move was executed abruptly and reversed days later due to internal and investor backlash. This episode illuminated the fragility and opacity of AI firm governance, especially given the global ramifications of their products. Karen uses the metaphor of empires to describe tech giants like OpenAI, Google, and Meta, as it captures their resource extraction, labor exploitation, and monopolistic control over knowledge. These companies appropriate intellectual property from artists, writers, and creators without fair compensation, hoover vast amounts of data, and build sprawling data center complexes that consume enormous environmental resources. Labor exploitation extends to data annotators, many former skilled professionals working grueling, precarious jobs to train AI models on skills they just lost in layoffs. The empire metaphor also describes their strategic narrative of benevolence, promising progress and abundance if they dominate first, framed against the specter of evil empires like China or older tech giants. The podcast reveals how these AI empires manipulate public perception by controlling scientific research and suppressing inconvenient truths. Researchers who critique AI's social harms, such as Dr. Timnit Gebru at Google, face retaliation or dismissal. Similarly, journalists critical of OpenAI may encounter intimidation or blocked access. Karen recounts instances of legal intimidation, such as subpoenas served to watchdog activists investigating OpenAI's corporate changes. The industry tightly controls who gets to shape the AI conversation, using access as a bargaining chip to encourage compliant coverage and silence dissent. Underlying much of the AI development trajectory is the assumption that human intelligence is essentially a statistical process, and that scaling statistical models will reproduce human-like or even superhuman intelligence. This hypothesis drives the development of massive models with huge datasets and computational power. However, this is a debated scientific assumption with no definitive proof, contested by neurologists and psychologists. Understanding the nature of intelligence matters because it shapes the strategy, resource consumption, and societal impact of AI development. Karen questions why the industry is focused on replicating human intelligence rather than building targeted tools that serve specific beneficial purposes with less cost and harm. The massive data centers powering AI models have significant environmental and public health consequences. Facilities consume gigawatts of electricity, comparable to the power used by entire cities, and often rely on fossil fuels or methane gas turbines, polluting vulnerable communities. Water consumption is another stress point, as cooling data centers exacerbate scarcity issues in drought-stricken regions. Karen details examples of communities near AI infrastructure suffering higher pollution and health risks without adequate consultation or compensation. This growing environmental footprint reflects the hidden cost of AI empires expanding. AI's impact on employment is complex and uneven. While AI tools have led to layoffs in various sectors, some of which are replaced by AI-generated automation, many layoffs result from executive decisions motivated more by cost-cutting than actual AI capabilities. New jobs do emerge, often data annotation roles critical to training AI, but these tend to be low-wage, precarious, and lack career progression, creating a broken career ladder. Meanwhile, professionals displaced by AI often end up in worse jobs, supporting the very systems that replace them, deepening economic and social inequalities. Karen is skeptical of claims that AI will imminently replace many professional roles or enable fully autonomous systems like self-driving cars everywhere. Deployments face technical, social, and legal challenges. AI remains specialized, with jagged capabilities improved selectively to maximize commercial returns, rather than developing generalized intelligence that far surpasses humans. Many predictions from early AI leaders have yet to materialize on the expected timelines, though investment and hype continue to accelerate. The gradual and uneven adoption will shape society in unpredictable ways. Given the outsized power AI companies wield, Karen argues that governance structures are fundamentally undemocratic and unaccountable, leaving billions affected by opaque corporate decisions beyond their control. While discontent is rising, polls show 80% of Americans want regulation and protests against data centers are multiplying. The pace of AI development outstrips regulatory frameworks. She calls for breaking up AI empires, fostering alternative research built on more equitable, environmentally sustainable, and socially beneficial principles, and expanding public debate beyond Silicon Valley's confines. Karen urges audiences not to succumb to hopelessness despite the challenges, emphasizing that people's everyday choices collectively influence AI's trajectory. Withholding data, scrutinizing AI adoption policies at work and schools, supporting equitable labor practices, and amplifying marginalized voices are tangible actions. She highlights the importance of non-empire AI alternatives like more efficient, focused systems, e.g., DeepMind's AlphaFold, that deliver benefits without massive environmental cost. The discussion surfaces the tension many feel in appreciating AI's transformative potential while demanding accountability for its harms. The episode closes by wrestling with the dichotomy of AI as both an incredible productivity-enhancing technology and a source of significant social, environmental, and ethical risks. Karen stresses that the tension between optimism and critique is necessary and resolvable, not either-or, but both-and. A more intentional, community-driven approach to innovation can preserve AI's benefits while mitigating harms and preventing a dystopian future dominated by unaccountable AI empires. Karen reflects on her personal journey from mechanical engineering to AI journalism, motivated by disillusionment with Silicon Valley's profit-driven ethos overshadowing urgent societal problems like climate change. Her work seeks to expose the myths and power structures shaping AI today and to galvanize broader societal engagement. The conversation concludes with an impassioned appeal for sustained dialogue, transparency, and collective action to ensure AI serves humanity rather than subjugates it.